A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
Hey, welcome everybody. This is Cut the Chit Chat. I'm Jake Moss.
And I'm Nathan Labonte.
And this is a podcast on the filmographies of Nicolas Cage. Every episode, we're getting wet in the deep waters of one of the most criticized careers in Hollywood. All to answer the question,
Why is Nicolas Cage?
hey man, like, why is Nicolas Cage,
Like,
dude?
totally, why, like, is Nicolas, like, Cage?
Like, totally gag me with a gag me with a spoon,
With the
man.
spoon. You know what Julie wants Nicolas Cage to do to her?
What does Julie want?
She wants Nicolas Cage to gag her with a spoon.
I want to be gagged with this spoon that is Valley Girl. This was my first time watching this movie.
Yes, we're talking about Valley Girl today.
I just get right into it.
Let's jump right in. This is how Nicolas Cage would want us to.
No time wasted.
None at all, which is why we're still talking about this. Valley Girl. Yeah, so this is my first time watching it as well.
For me, it was a bit of a cherry popping experience.
There's a little bit, it got a little wet is what you're saying.
Yeah, one could say that. Man, can I just say one thing?
You may.
This is a real horny movie.
It truly is.
It's so horny.
I guess the beginning is like a montage of shopping, but right after the shopping, when they start talking, it's just like teens
Talking about
you know
the sex,
but teen stuff.
Listen, they do it. It's 1983.
It is.
They do it. The bees do it. The birds do it.
Even the slugs do it.
Do they? Do they?
I don't know.
Hey, fact check real quick.
I don't want to fact check that. No. This is not a show about
We're
facts.
getting off topic, Nathan. We're getting off topic. Let's focus in on the Valley Girl.
Valley Girl. Yes. So I think we should talk about Nicolas Cage a little bit first.
Okay, just
because
get right in there. Yep.
this is his first real leading role.
It's what we're about.
It is. So before this, Nick had a very small role in Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Okay.
And I believe there was another film that he was in.
He must have been young because he was 18 in Valley Girl.
He was a young boy at the time. He was actually born in the year of our Lord, 1964. January 7th. So he was like the head of his class though, because he was a January kid. Not that that's important.
That explains
at all.
a lot about the chest hair in this
sure
movie.
Does.
We'll get back to that.
So he was born into a very creative family.
One could say that.
His father was named August, a professor of literature, and his mother Joy was like a dancer and a choreographer. And his uncle is one of the great, I guess, filmmakers, especially of the 70s.
Yeah, he's pretty well known.
He made a few good movies.
Not too bad.
My good friend Francis Ford Coppola.
You might have heard of him.
In the 70s, he made Two Godfathers, Apocalypse Now, and The Conversation. Arguably one of the best runs of film ever.
Yeah, that's a pretty good reputation.
And his cousins include Roman Coppola, Sofia Coppola. I'm just going to keep going back and forth between these pronunciations.
Yeah, just keep going.
And Jason Schwartzman. I still find it funny that he's part of that family.
Jason Schwartzman. The other day, I was reading through his filmography, and he was in what was it? Where he was just a fucking little kid.
Rushmore.
Jason. Oh, sorry, I'm thinking Jason Bateman.
I mean, it's pretty easy to get those two mixed up. One of them
look nothing alike.
One of them speaks with a little bit of like a thoughtful intellect,
and also has a mole the size of Texas.
Yes, and the other is Jason Bateman. Anyway, so Nicolas Cage, he wanted to act ever since he was young. He talks about how James Dean had a huge effect on him, especially watching East of Eden. He had a very strong affinity for the way that James Dean acted. And you can definitely see that through his career.
And James Dean was kind of a nice cross-platform. So he was one of arguably the first superstars.
Yeah.
In the idea that like he was a rock star in celebrity culture.
Yeah, especially in the studio age in Hollywood.
Big time.
And I think you could argue he was one of the first real heartthrobs. If you go back to like the 20s and the 30s, there were more like grown adult men who were heartthrobs. James Dean was kind of like he was a countercultural revolutionary in a way, especially for teens.
He was all for the kids.
He was. The kids loved him. Even in Valley Girl, you see a picture of James Dean taped up onto Julie's wall while she's on the phone, interestingly enough.
And in all the guys' rooms, it's all bikinis.
If they're even wearing it.
Martha Coolidge, the director, has a very good understanding of how the male mind works at that age.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's really thorough.
So James Dean, of course, is great in Rebel Without a Cause, and you can see through Nicolas Cage's career how he's kind of emulated that. There's a great scene in Rebel where James Dean is having the argument with his parents, and he yells about how they're tearing him apart. But that's one of those scenes that you can see a through line in Nick Cage's career, but how that really had an impact on him.
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting because you can really trace his career and what inspired it based on very specific individuals and performances.
Yes.
And he's always been really clear about that kind of from the get-go.
We'll probably talk about this stuff later, but he calls his style of acting kind of German expressionist, or he talks about...
He's referred to his style of acting as nouveau shamanic.
Yes, and he's used the term Western kabuki as well.
Whatever that means.
So he's very clear about...
Does that have something to do with the amount he screams in his movies? Because kabuki's, it's stylized screaming is what it is.
You're very right.
It's maybe one of history's first examples of metal.
It's I'm just looking this up. I have
that
no
went
idea.
Completely beyond you. Have you ever heard kabuki music?
No, it's a classical Japanese dance drama.
Think Ghost in the Shell.
Okay, kind of
the soundtrack for it. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, we'll cut that out. Yeah, you got it.
No, keep it in. So he was known, his last name was Coppola.
Yeah.
And
which was something he did not like.
That's correct. He got made fun of because everyone thought that it was nepotism. They were all like, oh, your uncle works in movies. It's all this.
Almost rightly so. Being in that family, you're either a director or a writer or you're an actor.
Oh, yeah. Like even, I think Gia Coppola is one of that family. She's made a movie called Palo Alto.
Yeah.
I don't know how good it was. I didn't see it, but it just seems like it's just like, well, I guess I'll do movies.
Yeah, movie business is their business.
Sure.
I've not really heard of Coppola's not being really invested into that. It just seems like it's part of the family name.
It is. And I think I remember listening to Jason Schwartzman on the WTF podcast. And he talked about how they would have big family gatherings and all the, cousins would show up and they just...
That would be a really fun family gathering, but at the same time, I would not enjoy that sort of pressure at all. I'd just be like, someone pass me the champagne and let me get drunk so I don't have to deal with all of this.
It would be so intimidating.
So intimidating.
There's Francis with his huge beard and then there's...
And also just huge.
And then there's Nicholas in the corner. He's just kind of on the phone yelling. It would be a crazy family gathering. So I can see why Nick wanted to kind of disassociate himself a little bit.
Yeah, wanted to make a name for himself.
So I think kind of brilliant. Nick Cage is a great name, Nicolas Cage.
It's nice and short.
He took inspiration from Luke Cage, the Marvel Comics character, who I know very little about.
I have seen the Disney show, and that is it. So I probably know as much as you.
Well, so I guess he was inspired by Luke Cage, and he just took that on as his name.
You know what? Luke Cage is a bulletproof gentleman.
That's
and
true.
One could argue Nicolas Cage's characters are the least bulletproof acting in existence.
Well, maybe he wanted to feel bulletproof. Maybe he saw those character traits and thought, this is something that I want to adopt.
I admire that.
So he got made fun of on sets, etc. So then here walks in Martha Coolidge. I think we've set up Nick Cage well enough. He's an up-and-comer who wants to break out.
At this point, he's 18.
He's 18. He's a young chap.
That's wild.
So Martha Coolidge. Let's talk a little bit about Martha Coolidge.
She's the best.
She's a legend.
She actually seems like such a cool person, genuinely.
She's amazing.
She seems like kind of like rock star director that you just got like back in the 70s, 80s. There were just these people that were like characters,
I knew nothing about her before watching this and doing some research. I'm so impressed. She grew up in a family where her father made 8mm shorts as just like a hobby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he died.
Family.
Yeah, he died when she was 9, so she became a director.
Yeah. I mean, she became a director to kind of fill that void, right? But it was just to like direct the family shorts that they continued to do, kind of in wake of their dad's passing. Everyone said she was an actor's director.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good comment. She actually studied illustration at the Rhode Island School of Design. Mm-hmm. But then became the first film major at the school. So she was already a pioneer there.
Interesting.
She went to New York University's Tisch School of Arts And then she later studied acting and other stuff in Los Angeles. So she was like a pioneer in her time, I think. So she actually moved to Hollywood in 76 and she worked with Francis Coppola at his Zoetrope studio. So Coppola wanted to, I guess, foster his own pool of talent.
Yeah.
And so he even said to Martha Coolidge, "You're going to be my female director."
So is that what Zoetrope was?
Yeah, it was founded by Coppola and George Lucas right at the end of the 60s. It actually still exists to this day, the American Zoetrope Studios. But back in the day, they made movies by, just to name a few different names, Jean-Luc Godard made a movie there. Akira Kurosawa had one produced there. Wim Wenders had one. Paul Schrader made Mishima, masterpiece.
Nice.
At Zoetrope. Barbette Schroeder, who we'll talk about later when we discuss some other Cage movies, as well as just like Coppola and Lucas just made a bunch of movies.
Yeah,
there.
so just a ton of classic cinema that's being put out by this group of goldies.
After the 70s, when Coppola made his good movies, and then into the 80s and 90s when he made his bad movies, just like one bad movie after another, that's where he made his movies.
I love to see the arc there of like Nicolas Cage versus Coppola. At what point did the one person's acting career start to really take a nosedive and the other's directing career start to also take a nosedive? You know, I want to see that intersecting vertice.
I think Cage went up and then Coppola went down, and then later Cage also went down.
Yeah. Listen, he's still got time to make the comeback.
Yeah, I think we'll talk about his career, and I think there's good stuff to talk about later on.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is where Martha Coolidge is in the late 70s. She works on a movie for 3 years, and then it just gets shut down.
Doesn't get made.
The two male directors that she was alongside, their movies got made. Hers didn't. I wonder why.
She moved to Toronto after this, just out of like self-pity.
Yeah,
she was. Well, I mean, understandably.
She's like, "That's it. I'm going to Canada."
Well, and then you know, listen, you come to Canada, you try to make a new stuff for yourself.
And you can't make movies in Canada.
She tried to make any flick. It was a flop. It didn't work.
Didn't quite work.
It didn't quite work.
So she was approached then to make Valley Girl. So the studio had the script that was written by Wayne Crawford and Andrew Lane.
Yep.
And they didn't want to direct it. They wanted a woman to direct it because it's a movie about a girl.
Yeah, but it's ironic though, because the studio executives, they wanted it to be a male exploitation film.
Or you mean it like a female exploitation? But
like male exploitation in that, like they said that in one of the interviews, they wanted it to be a male exploitation film. In order to get them in the cinema, they had literally a quota for how many breasts they wanted in the film.
Right.
Assumingly in Paris. I don't know the rules. And she had a quota that she had to meet.
Yeah, this is one of the interesting things. So they wanted her to make the movie because it was female centric, and they thought we should get a woman to do that because we don't want to do it. And this is an interesting time in Hollywood because what's happening is Porky's comes out in 1981.
Yeah.
I've not seen Porky's. I probably never will. It doesn't interest me at all.
Yeah.
But basically the premise is young guys want sex and they like spy on girls in the shower and so forth.
It was kind of the start of a genre of film, right?
And the 80s sex comedy, which is basically like guys trying to lose their virginity or whatever.
Yeah.
The great thing about it for the studios is they could make it on the cheap.
Yeah.
And then guys would just go and see this movie because it's like, hey, there's boobs in this.
Literally. Martha had the same experience with Joy of Sex after this, where the executives were like, we literally just want to make a movie to get guys in the theater and do everything short of pleasuring themselves to it. Like, we just want to make money off of sex. And so they came to her with Joy of Sex. I don't know. It's, you know, Valley Girls. It's a horny film.
Super horny
twist.
Flick.
You know, just letting you know, it's a horny film.
Thank you for letting me know.
But it feels really genuine and really honest.
Yes.
And they were surprised by the movie that she made by the end of it, because they were like, "Oh wow, you took everything that we asked of you and turned it into a functioning picture." And so I think they came to her again with Joy of Sex and was like, "Hey, listen, we got this idea. It's all boobs. Can you make it?" She's like, "I'll give it a shot, but we're gonna cut out like all the boobs.
Yeah,
not cut them off, just cut them out."
The interesting thing about Valley Girl, she read the script and she thought, I can do something with this. And what I love about her is she just did it.
Yeah, she just went ahead and did it.
She just went ahead and made one of the great movies, one of the great like teen comedies of the 80s.
Yeah, it's really impressive. She had obvious inspiration, and she had nothing against being open with that. You know, Romeo and Juliet was a huge inspiration for the film. You know, we'll talk about it a little more, but The Graduate was a big inspiration coming out in 67. And then Frank Zappa wrote a song that was apparently...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you listen to this song?
I didn't.
I did.
I was too busy listening to other better music.
Yes, you're correct. It's a terrible song.
Is it? What's it about?
It's about a valley girl, I guess. I kind of barely heard the lyrics. But it's kind of like someone in the YouTube comments described it as like the day's selfie by Chainsmokers.
Interesting.
It kind of is, because you've got this terrible melody in the background, and then in the foreground you've got this girl who's just kind of spouting out a bunch of random Valley Girl phrases. Okay, so here's some lyrics. Valley girl, she's a valley girl. Okay, fine, for sure, for sure.
It's literally the Chainsmokers.
She's a valley girl in a clothing store. Okay, fine, for sure, for sure. And then you've got the girl who's saying things like, I love going into like clothing stores and stuff. I like
gag me with a spoon.
I think the line "gag me" is in there somewhere.
Yeah, it's from the.
Anyway, he goes, "Are you into S&M?" I go, "Oh right. Could you like just picture me in a leather teddy?" "Yeah, right. Hurt me. I'm sure. No way."
Damn, Frank Zappa, what were you doing?
I don't know what he was doing, because this song is genuinely terrible, but it was a huge hit. And I'm glad that it's a completely different thing. It's disassociated. They didn't even use the song.
No, I mean, they reference it.
It's kind of the inspiration. It's like a quote unquote based on the song.
Sure.
So that's kind of why they made it, because this was a huge thing and they wanted to capitalize on the trend.
Yeah.
But whereas the song takes this concept of the Valley Girl and flattens it into a two-dimensional portrait, what Valley Girl the film does is it expands it into 3D.
Oh.
And it gives us fully fleshed out characters and people that we can actually relate to.
Yeah, literally and metaphorically. Like, it's a beautiful picture about coming of age and growing to love two very different people.
Even Ebert, in his 3-star review, mentions, I don't have a quote, but he says that it's interesting that this movie has like actual people that you care about.
Yeah, big time.
In contrast to a lot of the other 80s studio comedies.
Big time. A couple years later, in 85, she does Real Genius.
Yes.
And discovers Val Kilmer. Another sex symbol.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
What an attractive man.
And
like, he's playing this dork that's making a laser for the CIA.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess she spent like 6 months researching how lasers worked, which is, and like the inner functions of the FBI and the CIA for this big sci-fi thriller.
It's called method directing.
I watched the trailer and it just looks absolutely wild, where it's just this dude who's the perfect merger of the dork mathematician who knows everything and the attractive dude. I think you got one half of the deal anyways.
Yeah,
you got the dorky side.
Arguably the better half. I don't know.
People
Jury's still out.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Real Genius, but after watching this, I'm very interested in seeing it because I like Martha.
I feel like she coins the term adorkable because Nick Cage in this film, he's such a goofy, off the wall person, but he's also got this handsome, sexy energy about him too. That makes him a really attractive character, even though he's not at all your usual picture of masculinity and attractiveness.
Yeah, it's interesting because another behind the scenes story that Coolidge talks about a fair bit. The studio was looking for like a handsome guy to be the lead because then they would bring the girls in to see the movie.
Yeah.
So she didn't like the people who came in. She was looking through headshots.
Yeah.
Then she comes across Nicolas Cage's headshot. She holds it up and she's like, "This is the kind of guy I want."
And the execs are like, "Is he handsome?"
And she's like, yeah.
and I think they even took it to like a group of girls and was like, "Is this guy handsome?" And they're like, "I mean, I guess
so." And of course, we talked about the relationship between Cage and Coppola.
Yeah.
Martha Coolidge and Francis Ford Coppola.
They're tight.
They were friends. Zoetrope.
Yeah.
So Coolidge tries to get Cage involved. She's like, "I want you to be the lead," but Cage is already working on a project with his uncle.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know. I've got this other thing that's going on.
And she's like, babe, don't worry about it. Honey, sis.
She says, I can like totally work it out.
We'll smooth it. We'll smooth out the wrinkles. We'll work around it.
But the funny thing is, I don't know if you heard this one. She called the studio where Cage was working. She tried to find a Nicolas Cage. She was like, you got a Nicolas Cage working there.
Because that's what he told her his name was.
Yeah. So they spent hours like trying to find this Nicolas Cage guy. And there's no one here. So finally, they were like, "We've got a Nicolas Coppola," and she was like, "Gobsmacked."
"Oh shit! Oh damn! What?"
So I think it's kind of crazy, just the whole way this story works out. That despite not knowing the relationship, that she chose Nick Coppola, And, you know, the rest is history.
The rest, we're living in it, baby.
We are living in it.
Yeah. She really cites having discovered him, having discovered Val Kilmer. You know, I mean, someone else that she discovered. Like, I think that's pretty legendary for a director who's like 75% of her work is mostly TV.
Yeah, it's kind of sad that she kind of got the brunt end of the stick.
Yeah, and I really have to wonder how much of that is just, you know, sign of the times.
Yeah, I wonder what about her makes her different from a lot of other directors working at the same time.
She's a woman. Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, it's uncomfortable, but listening to the way a lot of the execs were, you know, treating her in the film, like, all right, I need this many boobs. She goes forward. She's like, I want the group of friends. Or I want one of them to be African American, and they're like, no can do. Sorry, Martha. It's gonna be 4 white Valley girls.
Yeah, I feel like Martha Coolidge is secretly woke. Not even secretly.
Yeah, not even secretly, dude.
But just like she was ahead of her time.
Well,
at the time.
And she references from college. She references the avant-garde filmmaking is like a big inspiration behind her work, and she claimed herself to be like an avant-garde filmmaker, and that was kind of an interesting quote. When I found that out, I kind of had an aha moment post watching the movie where I was like, this is kind of an avant-garde picture, you know?
In some ways it kind of is, and I think that's fascinating that she was making like little documentaries and indie work and avant-garde stuff.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
And then she just jumps right into this, which is completely the opposite on the surface, but she brings a certain kind of sensibility to it from her more avant-garde
and that
side.
Sensibility it's like a refreshing stream in this desert of just waste and refuse. There's this refreshing stream of Martha Coolidge running through, and there's nothing I enjoyed more than going up to that stream and just guzzling it down.
Yes.
Those refreshing waters. Yeah, so I guess, do you want to just dive right into Valley Girl?
Sure. Yeah. So it's kind of an adaptation of Romeo and Juliet. The names are Julie and Randy, which are pretty close. At one point you see them making out in front of a marquee that says Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
So we open with a shot. It's like a helicopter shot that moves from Hollywood to the Valley. Mm-hmm. So right from the beginning, we've got this dynamic established where we're looking at 2 different sides of a place.
Yeah. I'm not good with my geography, so I mean, I knew it was Hollywood. I saw the sign, but there was this sense of it feeling like it was from somewhere else.
Yes.
And I feel like I would have had maybe a better understanding of it had I been from that era. Like, it really does feel like a bit of a time-locked movie in that sense. And it was a struggle for me at first to get to that place of understanding because I didn't have that frame of reference.
Right, but the movie really takes you through it and shows you the 2 different places very distinctively because it opens with this montage set to a song, Girls Like Me, which is a real jam. I love that song.
Do you want to talk about the music from the movie a little bit?
Oh, the music is so great. This is known as a legendary soundtrack.
Yeah. Martha
Coolidge she went to a lot of like punk rock clubs during her time in Hollywood.
In Zoetrope. Yeah. I think she was doing some research for another film.
Yeah, she was doing a documentary, I think, on that. So she has a real knowledge of this kind of locale.
Yeah.
So she brought her A game with the soundtrack and just pulled a bunch of different songs and artists that weren't necessarily well known at the time.
Yeah.
And she catapulted a lot of these kind of people to fame because of this movie.
There was a band that was kind of the main performing band for the score of the film. Because most of it is contemporary rock music.
Yeah, so the Pimsles, they're the ones who are playing in like the grunge club, and the song "A Million Miles Away" is great. It's played twice in the movie.
Yeah.
They also do the songs "Oldest Story in the World" and "Everywhere at Once." Mm-hmm. There's also Josie Cotton, who's in this movie at the prom toward the end.
Yep.
She sings the somewhat controversial song "Johnny, Are You Queer?"
I thought it was a weird song for prom, but
and then there's the song I kind of had an aha moment when I heard it, "Love My Way" by the Psychedelic Furs, which is used
during the montage, right?
It's used during when he's in the shower.
Oh, pardon me.
When he's sitting there waiting. It's also used in the recent film "Call Me by Your Name" to excellent effect.
All right,
we won't have to talk about that, but I think I love the song. So the soundtrack was part of what really made this movie special. Because it had this diverse, different kinds of music, and it touched a certain nerve with the teenage population that came and saw the movie.
It was really authentic because Martha had that experience beforehand of actually immersing herself in the kind of the punk rock or classic rock clubs, and she really had a really good understanding of what the scene looked like, the language of the kid. Like she even says in an interview, like, I didn't have the best grasp of the Valley lingo at the time because really there was a language language, another whole dialect that kind of stemmed from that she had to kind of learn along with her actors in a way. Even though most of them were teenagers and whatnot, she still had to kind of sit down and they interviewed other high schoolers and kind of establish this lingo that they could take the script into and translate it through to make it feel more authentic.
Yeah, two quick notes. One, Elizabeth Daily, who plays Lauren in the movie, she couldn't quite get the whole Valley Girl thing down. So what she did is she adopted a Malibu kind of feel. Okay. So she decided her character was from Malibu instead of Valley.
Interesting. She does feel like a bit of an outlier.
She is, and we can talk about her a bit later because
she is the secret gem of this movie.
Yes,
that's what I feel.
Another interesting thing, I don't know if you've seen the movie Clueless. Clueless is directed by Amy Heckerling, who made Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Okay,
it's kind of an adaptation of Jane Austen's novel Emma.
Okay,
it stars Alicia Silverstone as well as a young, but isn't he always young, Paul Rudd, and
the ever young Paul Rudd.
And it's set in a very similar locale. Alicia Silverstone plays this Valley girl who goes to like a Beverly Hills high school, and she's very obsessed about wardrobe and all this, and everyone has a strong Valley girl accent. Clueless is another incredible movie. It's got such a sharp and witty script. It's a bit less about the reality of being a Valley girl.
Yeah.
Like it's not trying to make them three-dimensional characters.
Sure.
It's been a little more kind of mocking, but in a playful way. Strong recommendation, Clueless. It's a hilarious movie.
Interesting. Valley Girl is a really funny movie too, ending a lot of scenes on kind of like a one-hit line, and it cuts to the next really quickly. There's a lot of really funny stuff, and Martha even says in one of the interviews she's not typically a funny person, but she has a good sense of timing when it comes to humor and where to cut her jokes off and whatnot. I really enjoyed the humor that she brought to the film.
Yeah, and even the way it opens with the girls having their little conversation in the mall. There's kind of a very it's not like written jokes. It's just kind of an amusing, free-form, playful way of conversing between the girls.
I definitely wouldn't call it mumblecore, but there seems to be a bit of a parallel between kind of mumblecore style and the teen girls in this film, because there's like the mall scene and the slumber party are two scenes that the dialogue just shines in a really beautiful way, and it feels really honest and intimate.
Yeah, and right from the beginning, we have their kind of very specific way of talking. You know, there's like the whole gag me with a spoon thing going on. Which is funny. And then the most used adjective in this movie, I think, is bitchin,
bitchin,
which is hilarious. That's just like a word that they all use to describe things.
Do you think Millie Bobby Brown watched Valley Girl in preparation for her season 2 comeback of Stranger Things?
No, I don't think so. Also, right from the beginning, we get this conversation between the girls, and then the guys come in, and at the beginning Julia's talking about how she feels like an old chair. So right from the beginning, we have this idea of what does it mean to be a girlfriend? Like, what is the role of the female in a relationship with a guy?
Specifically in the Valley.
Yes.
Because it's so materialistic. And Julie, she feels like there's something off.
Yeah, she kind of gets the sense that Tommy is using her as a prop in a way. And that's part of why her meeting Randy is so special, because he treats her like a real human being.
Yeah.
And is more interested in her than about how she makes him look. I love the line where she says, "It's like I'm totally not in love with you anymore." It's just the way that she kind of casually plops that in, as if she's telling someone that she found a shirt that she liked.
And I love Tommy's response. It's not even that heartbroken. He's not heartbroken throughout the film.
I don't think so.
He's not a dick. I was trying to really weigh. All right.
He 100% is.
He is a dick. But I mean in the sense that he's not like emotionally manipulative to her. You know, oh, baby, if you leave me, you're going to kill me. Or like, you know, oh, I just want you. I want you to do this and that, whatever. There is that sense of the girl is always at risk of falling back in love with the guy if he just tries hard enough, you know. But Martha Coolidge does not play that hand, and instead there's just this guy that's like, if you're not going to date me, I'll survive, you know, it's whatever, but you're going to come back because I'm your best option.
He isn't malicious up front.
No.
But especially in the party scene with Lauren, you can see how he's trying to manipulate.
All right, he's a dickhead. Like, I'm not disagreeing with that.
As we go through, we'll see the points of his dickery. It's very pronounced. The next scene is incredible. It's the beach scene. I think this scene is fascinating because
There's
it
so
flips
much
the
happening.
script on the male gaze.
There's so much happening.
This is a scene about the female gaze.
Yeah, and so the girls are sitting on the beach and they're just kind of staring at guys and they're still talking about Tommy and whatnot. And then from a distance, they spot kind of a hunky gentleman.
Oh yeah, before we see him exit the waves, they're like, "Oh my God, what a hunk!"
Yeah.
And then you
look at those pecs, which was a comment that I found a little odd, because Nicolas Cage, albeit fit, there weren't much pecked wise. For me, it was more the chest hair that was eye catching than anything. And I don't mean that in a good way necessarily.
So they say what a hunk. Then we cut to just like Nick Cage exiting the water in the best way possible.
He emerges from this sand dune with the goofiest run I've ever seen in my life.
It's like he's stumbling because he's being dragged down on one side.
I picture that before he did that run up the sand dune, they had him do like 20 or 30 circles on the spot. So he's really dizzy when he runs up, because his legs and ankles are, as the English would say, akimbo.
Akimbo.
Just going everywhere, man.
It's like someone knocked the back of his knee in, and then he was just stumbling,
reeling forwards. Oh!
His arms are kind of flailing around. One interesting fact is he looked too old.
Yeah.
So
even though he was only 18.
Yeah, he had to shave his chest basically because he was just too hairy and looked too old.
So he winds up with this triangle on his chest.
In an interview with Kevin Smith even points out like, "Oh, is that like a Superman thing?" And Martha Coolidge is like, "No, it's just a triangle."
He just looked too old. We had to shave him down.
Yet, he just chose a triangle. Why not?
I don't know, because
it's a funny look, but I think it works.
Yeah, he's a really goofy dude.
It's
and
great.
Not in a bad way. Martha even says Nicolas Cage comes to the movie with a really sexy energy.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, there's a lot of that in the film. There's a lot of moments where I'm like, damn, I could cut this sexual tension with a butter knife, Someone pass me a spoon.
A spoon. Because this tension needs to be gagged.
Gag me with a spoon.
Yeah, he's got this very weird energy, and it's kind of like he's got this aloof energy.
Okay, yeah.
This very kind of
little bit
offside, off kilter.
I don't even know about aloof, but he just has this faraway gaze that is really offsets him from the rest of the cast.
Yeah, kind of like he's not entirely there.
Yeah, he's distracted.
But he kind of brings this weird sexual energy almost that another more conventional actor wouldn't have quite had.
Definitely not.
Because it would have been way too straight-laced and straight cut. And in this, he's just got this kind of weird energy.
Yeah, he walks the line of, like you say, aloof and dorky, but he's still very relatable. And on the beach, we already get the sense that he and his friend are from another planet almost. Fred's talking to him about a party he just heard about in line with Lauren and Stacy. He's literally just behind them eavesdropping the whole time.
We gotta mention that.
At one point, Lauren looks behind and he's almost got his chin on her shoulder.
He's just like looking over her, just kind of like,
Yeah.
And then they move away and he just moves closer.
So Fred walks up and we're like, okay, that's the guy from the line. So something's going on. And he's like, I just heard about this party that's going down. Randy, we got to hit it up. This is the address. We got to go. I don't fully understand what they're doing in the valley. They never really explain that.
It's never really explained. I think maybe they're just kind of looking for something different. Maybe they've kind of chatted up all the girls in Hollywood already.
We kind of get to that later on in one of the club scenes. But
that's right. What I think is the most interesting thing is this sets up this payoff later on about how appearances are so much based on what we put on the outside, and judgments are made based on that outward appearance, because they see Randy, and they say like, oh, what a hunk!
What a hunk! Look at those pecs! Gag me with a spoon.
And they're so taken by him at this moment, and they don't know who he is or that he's a Hollywood punk. It's this really good irony that points out this fatal flaw in their reasoning. As soon as he puts on like a weird vest and red shirt, they're like, who's this
with broken off shoulder straps, so they're hanging down over his shoulders. And something else per your point that I was just thinking about is, Fred comes to him, gives him the address and time for a party that evening, and Randy's response is, I'm not interested. I don't want to go to a party. And meanwhile, the ladies, they're looking onward, and they're, he's like, oh, this guy's so attractive and whatnot. He's the anti-attractive man that they'd be looking for, because he's not even interested in going to the party. He's just dragged along by his friend Fred.
He and Julie actually lock eyes for a bit, and they've got this kind of like,
lock sunglasses. She's wearing, Deborah's wearing sunglasses in the scene.
I just have to say, Deborah Foreman, her smile is incredible.
It's heart melting.
She's got this like perfect teeth, this perfect lip
symmetry. I don't know. Yeah.
When she smiles, it's like her whole face brightens up and the screen brightens up in response.
Compared to Nicolas Cage, who I feel like struggles smiling.
He's got this goofy like side grin in this movie.
Yeah, and it is really good. Goofy is the word.
So we've got the beach scene. I think the next notable moment in the movie is the party. I'm a sucker for a good party sequence.
Which is ironic. How many parties have you been to in your life?
One.
All right. And what party was that?
What do you mean what party was that?
It was a high school prom party, wasn't it?
No. It was just like someone's backyard party.
How many people were there, Nathan?
Okay,
it doesn't count if it's under 3.
It's like 40 people. It was a backyard. The cops were around the corner. That's how cool I am. Okay, I went to one high school party at a guy's house, and I have a picture from it.
That, you know what? I'm impressed. I'm genuinely impressed.
You're welcome. So this party is great because it juggles so many plot threads so deftly.
It really does.
You've got a whole bunch of stuff going on.
Let's start from the top of the list.
Let's start.
All right.
Okay.
Julie, Tommy.
Yeah, so you got the Julie Tommy thing going on where Tommy wants to try and win her back, but Julie is not into it. Julie's wearing, by the way, this like really frilly shirt.
Amazing outfit. It's got a lace collar. It's got the oversized sleeves going down to a nice fitted sleeve.
It's so weird because once again,
collar.
If a male director had shot this, lots of the girls would probably be wearing like skimpy clothing.
And
but
just boring outfits.
Yeah, she's wearing like this really interesting, fully covering.
Yeah, it's an elegant top.
It is.
Another interesting note on this, Martha had her costume designer. She asked his son to come in and employed his teenage son to style every cast member so that they would look as authentic as possible. And of course, there was a little bit of collaboration going through, but specifically asked this Valley teenager to style the actors to make their outfits look really authentic.
And I think I read that some of the actors, because of the low budget, actually wore some of their own clothing as well. I noted that there are so many popped collars going on, and at a certain point,
so many popped collars.
At a certain point, I realized first my thought was Tommy looks like such a douche with that popped collar,
and then you know what? And then Julie does it like 2 scenes later. She's wearing a popped collar.
Everybody is. So
I've had enough with these popped collars. This isn't Kanye graduation album where it's like, oh, I can wear a polo over top another polo, pop both collars. All of a sudden, I'm twice as cool.
Yeah,
they're all dicks. We got one man who's like wearing a fucking blue striped pirate shirt with a paisley handkerchief wrapped around his neck, and I'm thinking, what the fuck is this? The sleeves cut off and everything, and then the guys walk in from the city, and somehow their red shirts are less desirable than everyone else's outfits. It's ridiculous.
Before we talk about Randy and Fred, who are amazing in that scene, Julie is being pined after by Tommy.
Yeah.
But Julie is also pining after Brad, who is considered such a hunk by everybody.
Like characters, there's nothing there.
Well, Julie tries to talk to him, and she's like, cool party. He's like, yeah, then turns around.
And continues talking with his friend.
Brad, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm at the party to talk to this dude, so whatever.
So the whole kind of narrative with them is Tommy's trying to go after her. You know, he's not getting any luck. No one's having any luck with anything.
Not for love, just for status.
Oh, just for status. Tommy doesn't care about her. So what Tommy does is he prays after someone else.
Oh, and that's a good word for it. It's so
uncomfortable.
Greasy. I hate it. He goes after Lauren.
Yeah.
The hidden gem of the movie.
Yes.
Malibu Lauren. Elizabeth Daly herself.
You get the indication that Lauren probably has a reputation as a bit of a floozy.
Oh, don't say that. I don't know about
I'm not
that.
saying she is. I'm
saying
you
say you get the feeling for it. I don't think so.
But you get the sense that people think that about her.
Okay.
So the characters in the movie don't give her the proper respect that she deserves.
Yeah, she's definitely not. She's not respected.
Tommy is all like he gets rejected by Julie, so he goes up to the bathroom and comes across Lauren.
He's just looking. He's looking
prowling.
For
prowling is the right word.
Man's on the prowl. He's looking for game, and the first one he sees is Lauren, who walks immediately out of the bathroom.
Oh yeah, and he's like, "Hey, let's go into this bedroom." Basically, that's his.
I want to check
technique.
out the jumper that you're wearing. I guess. It's a cool jumper. It's like a red. It kind of looks like she just came from a Ferrari circuit. Red jumper, zipper going across the side.
These stories are intercut, but basically Tommy pulls her into the bedroom, starts making out with her, and
the whole time she's like, "Is this right? Should we be doing this?" And he's like, "Julie already called it off. What's the issue?"
Yeah. He's basically saying like, "Hey,
I've only had eyes for you and whoever else was in line at the bathroom."
Yeah, so he's definitely trying to get down and dirty with her,
and he succeeds. To a degree. Listen.
Here's what happened.
Boob counter.
Yes.
First boobs.
Yeah, so he's making out with her. He takes off her jumper. Boob counters at one.
We were actually featuring the executive producers. They're sitting in the background right now in some chairs just behind us. All three of them are holding up one finger.
They're holding up the one
and
finger.
Smiling. Thumbs up.
They like it so far. I think that it's great because Coolidge makes it a very narrative decision at this point.
Yeah.
She doesn't just like have gratuitous nudity for the sake of it.
You're right. This
part
is
of the
driving
story.
for the character development. Yeah.
So,
she's not going to make that mistake like other directors have been. Like she's intelligent. She's resourceful. She's Martha Coolidge.
She's cool.
She's a badass. She's a rock star.
So when we cut back to this story a bit later on, he's taking off his shirt, whatever. They're starting to like go for it. But then,
what base is this?
First,
Nathan, can you name all the bases for me?
Okay, I know this really well.
Oh, first base.
Okay, so first base is when you high five, but then also rub them on the cheek a little bit.
Rub both of your hands on each other's
You rub both
cheek?
your hands on their cheeks and whisper like, "Who's a good girl?"
They whisper that to you?
No, you have to whisper it to them.
Okay. Second base.
Okay, second base is when you give them a good shoulder rub and they say back to you.
From the back or the front?
From the front, obviously. You give them a shoulder rub and they're like, that feels pretty good. Well, what about a little bit to the right? That's second base.
What's third base?
Third base is when you lick them on the cheek. But it has to be a really long, just like...
Oh, what's home base?
Okay, so home base is like when you finally get there. So it's when you go to the store, you buy a bouquet of flowers, you drive to her dad's home. You're a little bit kind of, you're a bit nervous. So you rub your shoulders a bit.
Rub your own shoulders?
You rub your own shoulders to get into it.
You do second base on yourself.
You walk up to the door, ring the doorbell. Dad answers. You're about to take her out on a date. And you shake his hand. You say, "Hello, Mr. Daly," or whatever.
You call him Papa?
Bonus points if you call him Papa. You say, "Hello, Papa. I'm here. I'm here to take your daughter out." And he gives you a look up and down. He says, "You're good." Then you take her out, and then later on, you have intercourse. So I think that's how baseball...
So you're saying they reach third base?
Yeah, they reach third base. It's pretty strong third base because they're even licking mouths.
I think I saw a shoulder rub in there at first, and I was pretty thrown off that this didn't have a higher than R rating.
So anyway, they're on third base, and they're both, into it. And then Lauren's like, "Hey, so does this mean we're going steady now?"
And Tom's like, "Whoa, no. Definitely not."
Tommy's like,
And I see what you're saying when you were talking earlier about Lauren seeming to have a reputation and not, because Tom flips that switch where he's like, "No, I assumed you already knew what was going on this whole time."
Yeah,
definitely not.
I get the feeling that this has happened to her before.
Yeah.
She's asking because she's been in this position before and she knows that it can happen, that a guy will take advantage of her.
And she kind of gets up, sniffs away a tear.
Even before that, Tommy gets up, he puts his shirt back on, he leaves the room.
Yeah.
And this is such a great subtle moment. Right when he closes the door, she kind of hoarsely whispers to herself, "Get out." Oh, that moment is great. Because it gives her this kind of agency.
Yeah.
That she wouldn't otherwise be afforded.
Agency and lack of agency. It shows that she has a morality to her character.
Elizabeth Daly kills these moments.
It's a really amazing performance.
She plays every moment perfectly, and down to that last little bit of rage that she can barely muster when she says, "Get out." She's been hurt before, and she doesn't want to be hurt again.
Yeah.
I think the one issue is that the movie doesn't quite follow up with this scene.
No, not really. And it references at the slumber party, which is probably my favorite scene, but there's no consequence to her actions there, which I think it would have been nice if there was.
Well, Tommy, when he leaves the room and he goes downstairs, he kind of goes like,
"Promise, I won't tell if you don't."
Yeah, he says that to her.
Line.
But then right when he leaves, he tells guys that he slept with her. So that's part of why I think Tommy is a total douchebag and not worthy of any respect at all, and I hate him.
That's even still accurate today, where guys are still viewing as like a kill count.
And this is why Martha Coolidge is so incredible.
She's shining light on that.
It's so great.
Don't be a Tommy.
Don't be a Tommy. Let's talk about Skip. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's go through the party list. So we're at Susie's party.
Yes.
She's in the kitchen with her mom.
Stepmom, I think it is.
Okay, stepmom. Her stepmom's making sushi. They're with a dude who's wearing a suit and tie. I assume
it's her father or her mom's date. Something or other.
My guess is he's just a date.
He could be a date. Yeah, that's a good observation.
Which is pretty ironic. He's not an attractive guy.
Yeah,
in every sense.
He just looks
Nicolas
like a
Cage exists as this goofy, kind of sexy personality, and this guy's literally really like, the sushi looks pretty good.
Even though
you want to impress a boy, it's some sloppy sushi.
But I don't care. I love me some sloppy sushi.
So they're making sushi, and Susie says to her mom, "Listen, there's this boy Skip. I really need to impress tonight because I like him. I like Skip, and I need your help. Yeah, I need you to be my wingman."
And Susie's stepmom named Beth.
Okay.
It's a very kind of open dialogue with her daughter.
It's the Valley.
So Skip comes over and he's, he says hello to Susie, but we see that Beth is also, kind of into Skip as well.
Well, there's just this immediate reaction of when Skip comes over. There's the waters part, and Skip walks on over, but walks towards Susie's mom.
Yeah, so Susie almost gets shut out of this conversation.
A little bit, and there's that very obvious atmosphere.
So this is where shades of The Graduate really start to fall into place.
Yep.
And The Graduate is arguably one of the most influential movies of the 60s. It, influenced so many people, and you can see how it's had a huge influence on this movie especially.
Yeah.
But in an interesting way, the whole dynamic that's set up is this idea that you've got the mom, the Mrs. Robinson character, who's into the young guy. And then it develops further on where he kind of goes over to her house and she very heavily implies that she wants to,
plastics with him. Yeah. He comes over with the groceries and says, Susie's going to be home in about an hour. And Skip's just like, okay. She's like, you might want to think about doing this again at a more appropriate time. Yeah. And she's kind of like doing that wink and nod.
It is such a hard hint. When she says plastics, she's almost like, like the graduate.
The plastics has never been an attractive word until that point. It's kind of a fascinating scene. But again, it was one of these scenes where I feel like they didn't really pay it justice closer to the end of the story.
It's a funny throw line, but I found it really uncomfortable until the amazing turn toward the end. Anyway, so that's an interesting thread.
The party is the epicenter for all of these relationships to come to fruition. We have Lauren. We got Stacy's the friend. Who I always getting Stacy and Susie mixed up. Stacy is kind of I hate her the most.
She doesn't have much to do. You get this great shot of Fred and Randy showing up to the party. Fred's got this like red streak at the front of his hair. He's got a little curl, and they're wearing, like as we mentioned, the red shirts and like
shirts
the
vests. I love it. And Nick's wearing khakis and leather chukkas,
and they just decide to wear the same outfit.
Like, I guess if this is what you do.
That's like the approximation of punk culture. One interesting thing about their entrance too is as they walk in, they're kind of bathed in this red neon light, which becomes a bit of a motif in the movie. The red represents this punk Hollywood side, whereas the more brightly lit and flashy side is the Valley. They do have the conversation later on about how punk is more real, basically, than the Valley life.
Yeah.
So they arrive and immediately they don't fit in. They look completely different from all these.
They stand out, and the camera pans around the room, and literally all eyes converge on Fred and Randy.
It reminded me of Silence of the Lambs, where Jodie Foster is just like an outcast in the middle of a sea of men.
The sea of men.
So they're like these outcasts in the middle of these people. But the funny thing is that Fred is like, everyone is dressed so weird. So it's kind of like they are the ones who feel like everyone else is out of place. They just kind of start walking around, and Randy seems like really not into it.
Fred's there for the girls.
Oh yeah, he seems like almost too much of a womanizer.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
A little.
But it's genuine. It's honest. Like he's not out here preying on women like fucking Tommy.
Oh yeah, he's just being like weird about it because he goes up to a girl. He's like, "Do you think a girl should pet on the first date?"
Apparently you do. That was base number one.
That was base number one.
Yeah.
But then Randy and Julie lock eyes again. And that's where things start to come back. And suddenly Randy is very into being at this party. So he goes over, starts chatting it up with Julie. They kind of have a little bit of small talk.
There's some nice chemistry already.
They're having their conversation. And then this is after Tommy gets back downstairs from trying to seduce Lauren.
Yeah.
And he sees this weird looking punk guy trying to chat up what he thinks is his girl.
Yeah.
And he goes over and they start fighting.
Almost immediately. There isn't really time to react before Tommy just comes in and slugs Randy in the face.
Nick Cage gives this great delivery of a line that's kind of like, so what? Tommy goes up and he says like, hey, like, what are you doing talking to her?
Talking to my girl.
Yeah. And then Randy's like, well, it's basically none of your business. Turns back around. And then that's when Tommy like
slugs him in the
face.
He's a hit first, ask questions later kind of guy. And we hate him for it.
So they eject Randy from the party.
And then Fred comes shortly after.
Fred's just kind of standing there like, well, that just,
And then the guys just come, like pirate dude with the red scarf comes over and like grabs him by the scruff of the neck and then like throws him outside.
Cut outside to him being tossed out.
Yeah. And everyone's hatred for these guys. Like there's almost a cheer as they take them and pull them out.
Yeah.
Like they do not like these city slickers.
And then as they're like walking down the driveway from the house, Nick Cage lets off the beginning of what will be his great swearing thing. He's like, fuck you. To them.
Great delivery of the word fuck.
Thank you.
No, I'm talking about his, not yours.
Oh, I'll take full credit for his delivery of the word. So then he looks into the house and Julie's there and she closes the blind. It's kind of like,
I don't even think she closes the blind on him. I think it's Stacy.
No, that's Julie.
Oh, you think it's Julie?
It is Julie.
All
yeah.
right.
But
closes the blind on him.
It's very resigned.
They leave rejected.
They drive away and then they stop on, I was actually listening to Martha Coolidge talk about this. This was on Mulholland Drive actually.
So that was on location?
Yeah. So this was actually on location.
Beautiful shot of the nighttime skyline. It was so nice. I genuinely thought that was fake. I thought that was just a backdrop.
They didn't have permits to film and there was like some kind of drug bust going on.
Fascinating.
So there's a bunch of cops and they were like, oh shoot, this is it.
I guess we got to get this view. And it's kind of this do or die moment.
Yeah.
And Nick forces Fred, who's driving his mom's car, to stop the car. They pull over. Nick gets out and Fred's like, you know, what's going on? What is it? And he delivers this, nobody tells me who I can score with. And I'm like, honestly, dude, get it. Like, go get it, girl.
It's incredible. He kicks the car. He gets out and he just like gives
but
the car.
But not too hard because you can tell he's like, oh, damn, this isn't my car.
It's a good car. And this is the first indication of how Nick Cage acting in love is one of the best stages that he can be in.
100%.
Because he's got this energy that comes from the inside.
Yeah. And it just bleeds through the character.
Fully like embodies his face as well as his entire body. Where it's like he's consumed with this love.
It becomes this physical acting where his body goes rigid and you can tell he's angry, not at this one guy, but at everyone rejecting him from this place where he doesn't really belong. Yeah.
So they turn the car around and they go back and this is so funny. I love this part. First of all, the parking job, they just like pull in on an ankle.
Yeah. They get on half on the lawn and in the valley, that's a big no-no,
And so Randy climbs the eaves trough or whatever, crawls in the bathroom window.
Yep.
And he just hides in the shower.
And he just sits there and he waits.
And the expression on his face is just like so annoyed.
Yeah.
He has this exasperation that just kind of exudes from it. Every time he looks over the shower curtain, he just like rolls his eyes.
And that's when we see
second
boobs.
Number two.
Execs giving us the thumbs up. Yeah.
So
we're earning our paycheck this episode.
We are. Sure. We're getting paid nothing for this. And so as you see this couple and the guy is trying to like
well, he's pulling a move on the girl.
Oh yeah. And it seems
classic party shit.
So outside there's this guy who says one of my favorite lines in my favorite delivery. You hear a knocking on the door and he's like,
while the two are making out,
he's like, come on, man, I gotta go,
man. It's so desperate. It was so earnest. And then he runs in and the two leave. The girl buttons up her shirt. They walk out and this kid just runs in. Is like furiously unzipping his pants so he can just.
And Randy's just like, oh my god.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
We see some girls come in. They're just chatting,
doing their makeup, classic stuff. And small talk in the bathroom.
Yeah, just kind of blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So then he's sitting at the bottom of the tub with like his leg up.
And at this point, I'm starting to figure out like what he was trying to even go for going in the shower. And it takes him a moment, right? Like you wonder at one point, like
he has no plan.
There's no reason for him to. Why is he in here? You know. And then Julie walks in. I love what happens. He opens the door. He kind of like sneaks up. She's doing her makeup, and then he walks up behind her and kind of startles her almost.
And he says, "Don't be afraid." So in the Bible, angels always say, "Don't be afraid" or "Fear not" whenever they show up. So it kind of feels like Cage is like an angel showing up to rescue her.
Are you saying Cage is like he's like a Gabriel?
He's like a Gabriel. Yeah. He's like a guardian angel.
He's kind of glowing. He's got that soft light glow on him. And so they have that conversation.
He plays the scene so dreamily. The framing.
It's so good.
I love the framing.
It's still like him, it's not awkward at all. There's this obvious chemistry. They even mention, Deborah mentions later that her and Nick actually had a bit of an off-screen romance. there was a moment that they had to come to terms with what their relationship was going to be, because they said they were so immersed in these two characters that they had this chemistry developing. And then if I remember the story correctly, after shooting was done, after a couple weeks, they went off to a parent's cottage and there was an ultimatum made, and the other couldn't commit to the ultimatum, and that was that, and they never pursued each other afterwards. But like, that chemistry is there, and it's palpable.
Cage says in interviews that he had a big crush on Deborah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, understandably.
Very understandable.
Yeah.
So even while he was like camped out in his car overnight, while filming,
the way he stares at her, the angle of his head, almost completely unblinking.
The framing of that shot with him at the top left of the frame,
it's
her
a
at the
nice
bottom
tight
right.
close up.
Yes.
Yeah, and very few of the shots in the film are tight close ups. There are a lot of like wider angles or medium close ups of like shoulders up, but this is close and it's claustrophobic, and you can fucking smell it.
It stands out. So Cage, he plays Dreamy so well here.
He really does.
She's like, she's almost trying to play a little coy here. She's like,
definitely.
So like, where are we gonna go?
Yeah.
And he's like,
let's get out of her. And her first reaction is, I'm so sure. The way she says it, I laughed the first time, and I skipped back and I had to watch it again because it was so coy and like, oh man, it was awesome.
Yeah,
I'm so sure.
Foreman has a really difficult role to play here because she has to play up the Valley Girl kind of insincerity.
Yeah.
But she has to imbue it with a certain kind of sincerity.
Yeah.
Which is why this conversation where she says, where are we going to go? He says, I don't care.
There, you can see the conflict in her. Nick's just laying all the fucking bare. He's just like, everything's out in the open. And Julie, there's this conflict where she's like, I have to put on this persona, but what I want to do is get out of the party with this guy that I don't know.
Oh yeah. So you can see the cogs turning in her mind, and finally she's like, yeah,
let's do it. But I'm bringing my friend. I'm bringing Stacy.
Which, you know what? That's a good idea.
It's a very good idea. There was a point that I'd actually been watching some Stranger Danger videos with a friend like the other day, and that was a moment that I almost openly applauded. I was like, no, you know what? Good move.
Safe.
If it had been Lauren, it would have been perfect. Yeah. She brings Stacy.
It's fair enough.
I hate Stacy.
Why do you hate Stacy?
Stacy's the worst.
She's not the worst.
She is the worst because she's only Valley Girl. She's two-dimensional. No one cares about Stacy.
I think she doesn't have much to do in the movie, which is kind of sad. But
that's because that's all she wants. She's the one that's continually pushing her back to Tom.
She is the one who when they do go on the car ride, she's kind of like, she doesn't feel safe.
Literally only complains.
She puts napkins down on her seat in the club.
I want to be very careful with my language here, but if I was in the car with her, I'd be like, you know what? Just shut the fuck up and get out of the car. You know? Like, just get the fuck out.
So they do go on the car ride, and Julie takes Stacy out, and Stacy's like, where are we going? Like, what's going on? As soon as she sees these two punks, she's like, oh no.
She knows what's going on.
I love this sequence, first of all, because it's so juicy. Driving through Hollywood with these angles of these old theaters and these marquees. Yeah. Oh, I just wanted to like get inside the frame and walk around.
It was really beautiful use of neon lighting.
Yes. It's interesting how you can use film grain, especially. They didn't have much of a choice back then, but how the film grain really pulls out the neon and makes you really feel like it's a lived in place, and it almost feels like you want to live in that place.
Yeah. Again, there's a lot of nice use of like red's a really prevalent color throughout the montage of them driving downtown. We get a bunch of different street folk that are cheering and calling out to Randy as they drive by.
It's like Randy knows everybody.
Exactly.
So they drive past this group of black guys who are all like, ooh, who are those chicks in the car?
Yeah. But they obviously know Randy, and it's interesting to see like there's this quiet dude who's really seems like a genuine introvert the way he's been interacting with people throughout the first act of the film.
Yeah, he's always so reserved.
And then all of a sudden he's calling out to people and he's having a good time. He's like, Mark, when I see you, oh man.
One of my favorite moments is when he's like, no, you didn't do that. I'll talk to you later. He looks back at the road and he lets her this like, just like this laugh. It's like he's all of a sudden.
It's gleeful.
It's amazing. It's a real choice.
Yeah.
In my notes, I wrote, I am here for this grunge life.
And we've got some great music playing at the same time. They're pulling out some of the feature tracks from the score.
So they get to this club, which once again has that red neon light, which indicates like the punk feel. They go and there's like a brawl going on as they sit down.
Yeah. As they're going through the door, they get a pat down, which I've experienced on many occasions. About my first time getting a pat down, I did not know that was a thing because all I'd been was at house parties. And finally, I'm downtown one time and I get a pat down and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
That's so
and Julie and Stacy's reactions are both very much like, oh, what is going on? And Stacy's like wants to get the hell out of there, you know.
And then Stacy, she, like I said, she puts the napkins down on her chair as if she's afraid she's going to catch Punk if she sits down on it.
Yeah, man.
And when she sits down, she gets the drink and she says, "Don't you like have a straw?" As if she's like, it's so uncivilized to drink straight from the cup. And here's one of the main important conversations of the movie where Fred and Randy are talking about their way of life contrasted with Stacy and Julie. And it's a lot less sanitized than the party that they're at.
But it's also a lot less showy and it's a lot more genuine. And the dancing is significantly better.
Oh, yeah. Probably because...
So much better.
Probably because it's more racially diverse as well.
Yeah, probably.
You get a bunch of white people in the same room trying to
No one knows
dance.
how to move. No one knows how to move their body.
They compare like what they do, and Julie and Stacy's like, we go shopping, we hang out with our friends, etc.
They're like, we go shopping too.
Yeah, they're like, we do the same things. It's just the way we do them that makes the difference.
Yeah, they even mention secondhand shopping and stuff like that,
Yeah, and then they talk about the music too. It's either Fred or Randy says, this music's got emotion, power.
So much better than your Electric City.
Your techno rock is how he phrases it.
The unfortunate nature that he's probably talking about bands like Genesis and stuff, which hurts.
Well, but he calls it gutless, which, maybe.
Genesis is not gutless.
Not familiar with it.
You're familiar with Genesis.
And then Randy or Fred says, we're ourselves. You're all fucking programmed.
Yeah.
And then right after that, Randy just turns over in the middle of the club and he's like,
when am I gonna see you again?
And she's like, usually you say that at the end of the night.
He asks that, and I was thinking, I've been on dates where I've wanted to ask that before. Like just in the middle of it, like I'm really nervous. I need a little bit of security right here.
You're sitting down.
How am I doing? How am I doing?
You're sitting down at the restaurant. They bring out the breadsticks, and you're like, this is a great breadstick. So when can I see you again?
Oh, listen, this Olive Garden is great, but when can we do this again?
And
it's so honest.
And then as they're sitting there, the song "A Million Miles Away" plays. Oh. This is their first kiss. It's framed from the opposite angle. It's like they're breaking the 180 rule. We've been looking at them head on.
Because it's jarring. It's the first time they do something intimate together.
It is. We turn around. We see them kissing in the front ground. And in the background, we see the band on stage and the people dancing. Yeah. It's kind of like this new life that they're taking on. Yeah. The kiss is like this transition into something exciting. Yeah. It's like the people dancing in the background are showing what they're feeling on the inside. And it's a great kiss.
It's a good kiss. As far as kisses go.
It's pretty good. Yeah. Then they leave the club. They're out at night.
We're going back to the same shot at the Mulholland Drive.
At the top of the hill. Yep. This is where Fred is chasing Stacy around the car.
And then in the middle of the frame, it's literally just Randy and Julie sitting in the car making
out.
So this weird like chase is happening around the car.
For a moment, it seems a little predatorial, but then I was like,
they're both laughing. They're laughing. She's like, Fred. And he's like,
I wrote down, meanwhile, they're making out. Nice. Just nice. As they're doing their thing.
That's what Nathan says after every time he kisses.
So then Stacy's like, I have to be home by 1:00. And it's like, Stacy.
And so they go home.
They go home.
Yeah.
But Randy and Julie don't.
By the time they make it home, it's light out.
This isn't our first introduction to Julie's parents. We see them earlier, right before she goes out to the party.
Sure.
But here, first of all, they kiss. Yeah. They have a good smooch in front of her house. She goes inside and Julie's mom is just doing yoga by the front door.
Yeah, just legs
It's
spread.
Such an uncomfortable shot. Just like
her dad's sitting in the background, and it's awkward.
I have to shout out Colleen Camp and Frederick Forrest, who play her parents. First of all, Colleen Camp is like 8 years older than Deborah Foreman. Now, your MVP is Elizabeth Daly. Mine is Frederick Forrest, who plays the father. I love a good father performance.
His mustache is pretty killer.
It's a great mustache. I think of recent performances like Tracy Letts in Lady Bird, who plays the father. I think of Michael Stuhlbarg in Call Me By Your Name, who has an incredible monologue. Frederick Forrest plays this father who is kind of afraid of time.
It doesn't feel to me so much afraid of time as he is just kind of haunted by the fact that things are moving forward without him.
Yes. Yeah.
And I understand where he comes from, but I would say the two are very different because he's not neurotic.
No,
he's not
sure.
neurotic. And neurotic is like I would argue a fear of time and a fear of impending death. That's not what it's about to him. It's about just capturing the moment. And before they go to prom, you see him taking the camera and just obsessively taking photos.
Yes.
And that's kind of a nice little
with the lens cap
with the lens cap on. Yeah. And she's like, Daddy, is the lens cap on? It's kind of a beautiful picture of a father and worried he's going to miss out on his child growing up.
Yeah. And the parents do want to give them space, which I love.
But almost to a weird degree. Like at one point, Julie even remarks like, why don't you guys just punish me like Stacy's parents do? And her mother's quick reply, bad karma, dear.
Yes.
Cut to the driving school. And I was like, holy shit, that was great.
So the dad tries to give like a mini sex talk.
Yeah.
He's like, whatever you do is all right with us as long as it doesn't hurt you or anybody else.
And
Great
he
line.
starts to hit the S word. And then both the mom and Julie are like, whoa.
Let's stop that. And then Julie's like, this isn't the age of Aquarius anymore. And the dad says, would that it were? Which is great because they're like
so good. I realized in that moment that dad might be the coolest character in the movie.
He's amazing.
He's so
love
cool.
him. I want to be that when I
want
go
to be
daddy.
that dude. And you find out like he went to Woodstock and all. Like it's so cool.
They
you
were
know?
countercultural 60s hippies.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's great. So then in the restaurant,
I wouldn't even call it a restaurant.
No, it's
Health Foods
it's called
Diner, maybe.
Do they really make that much money with this store?
Honestly, that's a great question. I really don't know. And it's really poor customer service. Like the poor guy that's sitting at the bar, dad's got a bowl of like quinoa or something in his hands and they're talking about how gross the stuff is in front of him. He turns around and like offhandedly passes that bowl in order to shake Randy's hand when he walks in and just gives it to the guy. And off screen, you hear the guy quietly say, I didn't order the bowl of salad. And then Julie's like, Daddy, he wants a sandwich. So the dad goes back, he pulls out a sandwich. And the whole time the guy's having to shift seats.
That was so funny. That guy is great.
I wish he was accredited with a name.
But that's also the scene. Cage walks in and
I have this running theory about the number of buttons that you have unbuttoned on your shirt equates directly to how comfortable you are in a situation. Top button's formal.
Mm-hmm.
Under the top button, it's hot in here. Second button is we're comfortable now. We're sharing drinks. Third button's like, this is good. I'm either with friends or I'm with someone I got to impress. So we go down to the third button. He's like 7 buttons through, man. He's flaunting it and he walks right up to the dad. They go up for that monumentous handshake and they both kill it. Are they bros?
I think they kind of are.
I think they're bros.
So Randy wants to take her out. He's like, don't you have work to do? And then she's like, I have flexible hours.
The way she says it, I have flexible hours. It's just like, okay, whatever.
And then we get to maybe my favorite part of the whole movie. This montage is amazing. I love this montage so much.
Such a good summertime montages are generally the best.
I almost don't have words for this just because of how on such like a gut level it hit me. First of all, the song that plays over it, I'll Melt With You. That is an incredible song.
Because my heart was melting.
Mine was too, I think. It's a song by Modern English.
Okay, so not the Plimsolls.
No, not the Plimsolls.
Okay.
And I've listened to the song a few times since watching it, and it's just got such a good movement to the song that fits so well with the images.
Yeah, the pacing of the montage is really killer.
It's really well edited together. This is kind of like him bringing her through his life.
Yeah.
So he points out like a breakfast place, a spaghetti vendor.
Yeah.
There's like a donut house, a cocktail lounge, a disco lounge, a bowling place. It's kind of like he's introducing her to his life. And so if you look at the number of scenes they share together, you could say their romance is a bit flimsy.
Yeah.
But this montage really sells how much they're into each other.
It reinforces their relationship. And not only that, but it also reinforces the duality between the two.
Yes.
And the contrast. The whole time their outfits are changing, but they're not like crossing over at all. She's not dressing like punk. He's not dressing like a valley kid. So the whole time their difference of character is just further reinforced. And that to me, that's the quintessential relationship move in a way, is just like two very different people learning to come together in this kind of beautiful new thing.
They can both be themselves. And then two of the most beautiful shots in the movie, I think. First one, this is a real horny shot. It's one on the beach where it's
where they're just making it.
It's a tilt up. They're both wearing just like thin bathing
Not much.
suits.
Yeah.
I was like, dang, that's a pretty like sexy shot.
It's tripendicular, man. Let's be honest, they're wet.
But then there's that shot of the LA skyline. We see the skyline, we pan over and it's the two of their silhouettes in the car. It's such a delicately lit shot.
Yeah.
It's almost breathtaking that it gets pulled off.
It's shots like this that, again, they reinforce for me. So many people are expressing their views on film and digital and in cinema right now. And it's not a conversation worth having that one's necessarily better than the other, because there's a time and a place for both.
Different effects, yeah.
Yeah, and different tools to be used to a specific, their means to an end. But they really use film well. And again, like these shots of the skyline or these shots of like whether it's night or day or whatever, they're exposed so beautifully where you get there's a raw texture that comes from the shadows, and the highlights is really a beautiful thing. And
it was shot by Frederick Elms. He was a cinematographer, a close friend of Martha Coolidge. They actually went to school together and did a lot of stuff together early on.
Yeah.
Elms also did cinematography for David Lynch, Jim Jarmusch, Ong Lee, among others.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's got a pretty impressive resume going on.
Yeah.
We can see some of Coolidge's kind of avant-garde past coming to the forefront here. The way that she kind of puts shots together to be very expressive in this way. It's not just like an expositional montage.
No,
it's so much more about emotion and the feeling that you get when you're falling in love with someone.
Yeah, the reinforcement of their comfortability, which has to be set in stone for the next few scenes where now they have to be driven apart, and it needs to be painful.
And then toward the end of the montage, we finally get Randy going into the valley life. So they're in the mall, and we get a shot of Tommy who's looking at them. And I almost felt bad for him just because of the way the music was going down, and he almost looks kind of sad there.
Yeah.
But I don't feel bad about Tommy.
It's a nice melancholy moment, but he deserves it.
And then finally, right at the end, we get him dropping her off at her house. And then as he walks away from the door, he does this little like dancing thing.
Yeah.
He kind of like skids. He's like doing a little arm thing.
He's doing a little jig.
I love it. It shows the depths to which he's in love.
Yeah.
And it's great. Cage just sells it so much with the way he looks at people, and also with his full body, just like giving into this passion that's consuming him. Soon after this, I think if we want to go to the next important scene, we do have the slumber party.
Nick's not in this one, but this is my favorite scene.
This is where you get why it was important for Martha Coolidge to make this movie as opposed to the guy who made Porky's, for example.
There's a couple reasons why I want to talk about that. First of all, I was so uncomfortable watching this.
I was too.
And it wasn't because what they were wearing. It was just, I felt like Martha's perspective into the slumber party, it was so intimate that honestly, as a guy, I felt like I was encroaching on their space. As a kid, I grew up with two sisters always talking about slumber parties, and this was the thing that I was never party to. Finally being able to see this on screen, I felt like I was peeking into something I shouldn't, you know?
Yeah. I think it was amazing that they talk about this idea of anorexia and of bulimia, because they
mention it's more about body image.
They say people do that, chew and spit food out to stay skinny. And then she says it's very serious.
Yeah.
And in a way it is them just, talking casually.
Sure.
But it's like, Martha, you're just talking about something that's going to be an issue for 30 plus more years.
Yeah. We're still living in that issue. And now people are more open to talk about it, which is great. But back in the day, this was not a topic of discussion.
It was amazing. I was like, oh my goodness, they just did that.
She's so fucking woke.
Yeah. And well, other than how the scene opens with them going, way to go, spaz. Which, fair enough.
Listen, I love a good spaz. One of my favorite lines is when someone brings up Tommy and Julie's reaction is, who? And they say, Tommy, who? And then everyone says, Tommy! She's like, fuck him. And you can tell that Randy's speaking through. She's like, fuck him. Everyone's like, oh! And Lauren turns around and is like, you heard her, ladies. We must fuck him. And I was just like, I mean, Lauren's saying that, but she almost did,
I love that. I think it's so funny.
There's so much going on in that scene.
Okay, I'll be honest. I don't know if this is a great representation because I have never been to a slumber party that's only girls.
Yeah. Probably and there's a reason for that. Yeah.
I do like how Julie in this scene is trying to distance herself from this Valley Girl lifestyle.
Yeah, she's realized the materialism behind it all.
Right at the end, they talk about like penis size.
Yeah. But really awkwardly because they're just as uncomfortable about it as everyone else is.
Yeah, and Julie isn't really interested in their talk.
Which again is so fascinating because because here's this horny group of teens that are sex obsessed at the same time. They're afraid of it, but that's kind of why they are. That's the duality of coming to terms with your body and your sexuality and all that, blah, blah, blah. And Julie's right smack in the middle of it with a great potential partner in Randy, and that's not the interest. And also, as we later discover, Randy's experienced, but he's not interested in forcing that on her, which is a really fascinating contrast to all the movies going up beforehand, whereas this idea of like guys with experience approaching girls without and like turning them into whatever they want them to be, like that was such a 60s, 70s, 80s trope of the guy crafting and forming the girl. And it was a gross one, and it was sweaty, and Martha brings this refreshing perspective of a guy who doesn't really give a shit about that, you know.
Once again, he cares more about her as a person than about her as a conquest.
And Martha does talk about how this film was such a success with teen girls specifically, even though the studio execs try to make the movie for guys, it ended up being for girls. And it's a really beautiful picture that's painted. Like, it's one that I wish I'd seen growing up to kind of help me better understand the women in my life, or that would be in my life.
Yeah, in the Kevin Smith interview, he talks about how he wishes he had seen this when he was younger. Because he sees Randy as the quintessential boyfriend. Like, that's how a boyfriend should be in his eyes, which I don't take all of my advice from Kevin Smith.
Sure.
But I think
definitely not short/pant length.
At this point, we see the real split between Julie and her friends. We have the brief scene in the diner where Lauren is genuinely trying to be helpful. It's a very humanizing scene for Lauren.
Lauren's a great character because she's not really antagonistic.
And then right after the ending of the Graduate plot line, we've got the father-daughter scene, which is one of my favorite moments in this movie. It's just beautiful. The way that her father sits down with her and is just so open to listening to all of her concerns and everything. Yeah. And he doesn't want to try and convince her one way or the other. I get this sneaking suspicion that he doesn't like Tommy that much.
I think at this point he's aware of the kind of guy he is. He seems to be playing this role of an advisor, but he's not even really giving advice. All he's giving her is like his perspective, you know?
He starts off by saying like, well, what do you want? And then when she kind of goes back and forth, she says...
Because at this point, none of her friends have asked that question.
No, her friends are all like, Tommy, because he's the hunk. And the father says, there's the rub. Nothing's easy.
Yeah.
So he understands the struggle.
The pressure.
And then he goes on to say, what difference does it all make? It's all about what you stand for. So he's looking beyond what she sees as the issue. She sees it as a surface issue. Which guy do I choose? He looks deeper beyond that. He sees it as an issue of the heart. Like, where is your heart, and what do you want for yourself? And I think she misses the point of the conversation.
I think so, but I don't think she could really come to terms with grasping it, because in her mind, it's still an argument over boyfriend and friend. Like, I think at the end of the film, she'd understand that if she was asked the same question. But the way her father answers it, so he's not ignorant to the risk that she is putting herself in by disregarding her friends, but he's also not ignorant to where she wants to take her heart. He's pretty open to her about that.
It's a really sweet conversation, because even though she misses the point, at the end she says, so what do I do? And he says, beats me, love, but let me know when you decide.
So good. Again, he's awesome. He's a bro.
He is the MVP of the movie for me.
No, that's Lauren.
For you.
All right. Well, there we disagree.
and not to shout out a movie you haven't seen, but it does remind me of this monologue at the end of Call Me by Your Name.
Yeah.
Where it is just the father and the son on a couch, just a very kind of simple camera setup. Yeah. And it's just allowing the actors to play the emotion of the scene. And that's one thing I like about this movie. A lot of moments are able to be played out in full. Just like the camera's watching. Sure. It sometimes cuts between reverse angles, but the actors are allowed to just do their thing and find the emotion, like the truth within the scene.
Yeah, because the truth is there is no right or wrong decision. It's the decision.
The decision itself.
Yeah, and the act of going through it and making whatever is right for you.
After this, we get a moment that I just hate. I hate this so much.
Tommy!
I hate Tommy so much in this movie.
Speak on that, Nathan.
Okay. So what happens is
it's the diner scene, right?
Before this, we have a moment where her friends are at high school, and there's like, what's going on with Julie? And then Tommy goes up and he's like, she's never around anymore.
Oh yeah.
And then
I'm worried she's going to be emotionally damaged.
Yes.
which like he's pulling out the big lingo.
Get out of here, Tommy.
This fucking Brad.
He's such a douche.
Yeah, he really is.
So Julie's sitting in the diner by herself. She's just enjoying her fries.
Sitting in the corner of the booth. You can tell she's really thinking hard about stuff.
Yeah, she's not enjoying the decision. So then her friends go up to her. It's like a sneak attack. And Julie understands that they're looking for the answer to the decision. And she says, Randy is totally special to me.
Yeah.
It's adorable that she still uses the Valley talk.
Yeah, but to a certain degree, they're getting to the root of it. She's being more honest with herself and with other people.
She basically says, I don't know if there is a right choice, basically. Yeah. But she indicates that she'll go back with Tommy.
Because she doesn't want to lose everyone.
Yeah. She wants her friends to stay close to her. And she's not sure if Tommy will, quote unquote, take her back. And then the girls are like, oh, he will. And then Tommy walks in the door and they're like, oh, gotta go.
The way Stacy presents that whole situation, she's the one that's mainly talking to Julie. She's the one that's like, Tommy would still take you back if you asked, if you went back groveling. And then Tommy walks in. I wondered if the character story beneath that was that she set that up.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, and it's so conniving. And again, I hate Stacy almost as much as I hate Tom.
Her friends are such traitors.
Not Lauren. Lauren's not. No, Lauren's good.
I guess
Lauren's got a
she's
heart of gold.
Stacy and Tommy can go be friends elsewhere. they can go like make their own movie where they're evil maniacs trying to steal diamonds or something. So then she's asked by Tommy, is this what you want? And she nods. And Tommy's next to her and it's all like
yeah, whatever.
But she's got this look on her face. She's like, I don't think I made the right decision.
Yeah, but she's already regretting it.
But she also knows she can't go back. She loves her friends so much. And that's part of the sweetness of this choice, because we do see that she has a strong connection with Randy, but she does want to stay close to her friends.
But the irony of this whole discussion is it's still so rooted in the need for things, the need for a boyfriend, the need for a girlfriend, that those kids can't exist outside of that realm of need. She wanted the comfortability of having someone to be there and didn't really care who. So Tommy was the next best thing.
Yeah. It's not even like Tommy is the one that she wants. It's the one that she
Tommy's
was
the next
with.
best. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, she doesn't need either.
So then the next scene just like destroys me. It's the breakup scene and I hate it.
Now you hate it because of how heart-wrenching it is?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I think it's a really well written and well acted
scene. It's very well
scene.
written. Randy's walking up to the door. She's just in her bathrobe. She's getting ready for whatever she's got to do. And there's already a sense of he's been left out.
Yes.
She asks, why didn't you call? And he says, well, I didn't feel like I had to. We had this good thing going.
Yeah. But it's such an adorable thing because she says like, why didn't you call? And he's like, I'll go over. I'll call you right now.
Yeah. And I love that. Interestingly enough, so at the time of filming, he was only 18. He was living out of his car.
Yes.
So he was method acting. And there was a point at which Martha actually approached him and said like, we need to be able to reach you for this movie.
Yeah. Like if
and
the
it's
call
dangerous
times change.
it's dangerous for you to live in the city of Hollywood in your own car. And he was like, well, listen, I'll just go to a payphone. And it's so funny. Like before they had cell phones, this idea of like, don't worry about it, Martha.
Like, there's a payphone outside by my car. Just call me.
Yeah, and having read that before seeing the movie, I thought that was such a unique way. He's just like, well, if you want to go over to the payphone. And so he's being coy and he's having a little bit of fun because he understands the relationship, but he's not been privy to this change. So he's confronted with it and he realizes like, I see what's going on. And as someone who's quick to resign to things when they're out of his control, I appreciated the kind of flip out that he took. And at first it seems very cookie cutter of the era. The male stereotype figure freaks out over the girl, does something crazy. But like, he's just being himself. He's like, well, I was thinking maybe we could go. And she says, I can do that whenever I want.
So she basically is like, we're done. And then his face, this is partially why I have like the puppy comparison, because he contorts his face into like the eyebrows go up.
The eyebrows heavy on the eyebrows.
Eyes are wide. His jaw's a little slack. He tries to take on this face that's as cute as possible so that she can't say no to him.
But it feels really natural.
It does.
This scene's uncomfortable.
I think it's uncomfortable because you know that she should say yes.
I don't think that's the only reason. I think one of the other reasons, and again, one of the interviews I was reading through, is Deborah says the fact that we had this off-screen romance, this chemistry that was brewing, she said it was difficult for both of us to come to the breakup scene. She said to her, it felt like it was alluding to a decision that had to be made in the future.
Yes.
Which I thought that was very fascinating, interesting that they had to go through that whole ultimatum thing on their own. But that's such a unique moment where I genuinely feel like that uncomfortability stems from their actual real life interaction and this realization that, like, in a way, this is real.
And then you feel the weight of that when he says, almost out of the blue, he's like, I love you. And we sense that's the first time he's said that out loud to her. And then her face, it's just, she's devastated by that. You can tell her face completely drops.
And that's when she starts to tear up.
She has to tear up. She like pushes him out, basically. Yeah. She feels like she has to make this sacrifice. And I don't know, the choice is a little flimsy. It's a little bit.
Sure. And the way she goes back on herself in the end. Yeah, I agree.
But it's a choice that she feels has to be made. So
and it's a necessary one to drive the story forward.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So she pushes him away. And then we get this beautiful moment of acting from Nick Cage where
this outburst.
So he's walking down from her door and he realizes that this is it. This is the breakup.
So he's going to get his last word in.
Yeah.
He's angry. He's walking away. He's almost stomping away and turns around and gives her one last fuck up for sure. Like, totally.
Yes. A great improv line I read. And it's just this way.
And it's almost like he's mocking her.
Yeah, but I think he's also mocking her friends because he does say in that scene,
Definitely.
like he acknowledges, oh, it's your friends, isn't it? And it's back to that Romeo and Juliet thing where they're the two different sides and you get the historical feeling that you can't rectify these two sides without some big sacrifice happening.
And she tries to play it off. She tries to say, no, this was my decision and whatnot, but he's not having it. He understands. He gets the picture.
It's a gut-wrenching scene because Coolidge and co have built up this beautiful couple and you don't want to see them break up. And then we jump over to the next scene, which is probably my least favorite in the movie. I kind of think it's necessary, but I still feel like it's a bit rushed in a way. We transition from real night to dark night of the soul for Randy.
Yeah.
He goes back to like the grungiest of the grungy
back
in his
to
neighborhood.
The club where they know him by name.
Yeah, there's the shot of him in the parking lot just like drinking, swigging out of this brown bottle.
He does a great drunk.
Oh, he does.
Because he's always so exasperated. So to see that paired with the tripping over himself character.
Yes.
He plays a really good clowny drunk.
So he goes back to the club where the Pimsels are somehow still playing.
They haven't stopped.
And it's such a dark night of the soul moment. We see Samantha walk up.
She's an ex. She hasn't seen him for months. He definitely doesn't want anything to do with her. It feels like she doesn't really want to have anything to do with him either.
They find each other and he's like, I've been looking for you. And she says, no, you haven't.
Yeah. He resigns himself to the line. She's like, no.
But anyway, they go
Pathetic.
into the ladies' room.
Yeah.
They hook up. It's really uncomfortable.
We see our fourth and final set of boobs. Susie was the third.
That's right.
Yeah, not that it's really important.
No,
but, the executives are sitting to my left.
Martha Coolidge is very precise when she talks about that scene and with Susie and Skip.
Yeah,
how she's like, it was only like 4 frames and it's a side angle, so it's not even that much. She's so proud of how she did that, and I'm proud of her too.
Yeah, and you know what? The execs are giving me the okay. They're happy with it. They like the movie at the end.
So they have that scene in the bathroom. It's really uncomfortable. Like it's not even
so dark. Again, dark with the contrast. It's like he's in hell. It's like it's a dreamlike state with only red and black. There are 2 other girls that like walk in and then quickly walk out when they realize they're just in the bathroom making out. But it's like he's in hell and he's resigned himself to this emotional turmoil that he feels like he almost deserves.
And you can see on Cage's face the frustration, the depression, and everything as he gives into this temptation.
Yeah.
He's fighting against himself, and you sense maybe in the past he's had some kind of struggles, and that Julie was a saving grace for him.
Because this girl Samantha is in stark contrast to Julie. Jet black hair, messy hairdo, very much carrying the punk.
She's got like a very sharp look on her face.
Yeah, very heavy eyeliner and eyeshadow. It's just the whole setting is dark and grimy, and the bathroom stalls are disgusting. To use the phrase, they're not making love.
No,
they're not making love at all.
No, this is just some like down and dirty sex.
There were no napkins laid.
No napkins.
Stacy would have laid down napkins, and there was none laid.
Julie better watch out in the future because he may have caught something.
jeez.
So then he exits, and then he like gets in a yelling match with a Spanish guy who has a cane.
And that's when Fred saves him.
That's when Fred shows up.
This is the first time we see Fred since date night.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he kind of comes back, and he doesn't hold any resentment to him either.
Oh,
he
no.
understands what's going on.
And Fred is real kind with him. He's puking and groveling. He plays that really well. He's got like the slurred speech, and his whole body is just kind of like slumped
over. Yep. He's a pathetic excuse for a man at this.
But then we get this beautiful golden light in the alley when Fred sits down with him.
Yeah.
What follows next is one of the funniest parts in the movie. So he tries to get back with her like almost immediately.
It's almost a third montage the way it takes place. Is Fred kind of frames it by saying, well, you need to have a plan.
Yes.
Because up until this point, Fred's been the plan guy. You know, he's planned the party. He's planned the beach. He planned the night out. At the end, he plans the prom. All of these are just kind of the first go at it, right? But he says, you need a plan. So they develop these costumes and characters.
Yes.
And he goes and he starts playing these parts in this short little montage that's so good.
The first one is he gets in the car with Julie, and she's like, get out.
Yeah.
And I love that he's respectful and he gets out of the car.
He does. Speaking of stranger danger.
Stranger danger. So the montage. Okay, first we have the movie theater.
Oh, man.
He's just an usher at a movie theater.
Did you catch the movie title on screen?
No.
Getting Even.
Oh.
Was this on the big black letters against the white light? Getting Even. We see the guy working the box is standing by the door wearing a set of 3D glasses, smoking a cigarette, and you realize that it's Randy.
Tommy says, "Is this in 3D?" And then Randy says, "No, but your face is." And then
Tommy's like, "What? I don't get it."
And then I think it's either Lauren or Stacy says, "I hate 3D."
And Julie knows it's him. He takes a puff of that post-coital cigarette. I love me a cigarette in a romance movie.
Oh, you gotta have a ciggy.
It's his bad boy skin shown through. Really good editing.
That's a great trailer
Cut
line.
to the next shot of the montage.
Yes, in a drive-in restaurant.
Love it. They're just sitting out. You see him come out. He's wearing the Jesus hat. He's wearing the tinted aviators.
And he's got this funny little like, "Hey, what you do?"
accent. Yeah. It's a really weird voice for him to take on again. He's playing all these characters. Like, I love it. We're getting this creative side that is very much Nick shining through. And honestly, Julie's loving it. Not at all off-put by seeing him at the theater. She kind of laughs to herself as they're walking through. And then when she realizes that it's him passing off the food at the diner, she gives another smile and a chuckle. She knows exactly what's going on.
Yeah, and one of them says, "It appears you forgot our French fries and
Tommy,
Coke, fish head." And then Nick Cage says,
"Well, Peter Piper picked a pepper. I guess I did." And then he spits his gum out, and it lands on Tommy. And they're all like, "This guy's crazy."
And that was an improv too.
Man. And then he just picks it off the jacket.
Julie's laughing her face off because she didn't expect that gum thing to happen. So that's a genuine reaction.
It's so good. There's this idea like Julie's his girl. Mm-hmm. And he's fighting for her, but in his own way.
And apparently his way is just showing up in random places.
But he's just razzing on Tommy, and he's just proving how much more of a man he is than Tommy.
100%.
Tommy doesn't even know that he's being razzed on to begin with.
So then the final part of that montage is she looks out her window and he's just in a sleeping bag outside on her lawn.
I honestly didn't get that last one. I was like, all right, you crossed the line.
So he's out front on the lawn in the sleeping bag.
I keep on thinking, where are her parents when all this is happening? A man sleeping on your front lawn. And I get the whole hands-off parenting aspect.
I think her dad's like, "Hey, I did that."
Fair enough. That was Woodstock for me, baby.
How do you think I met your mother? So then we get toward like the final bit of the movie. There's the part on the hill where Randy and Fred are like, "Okay, let's do this plan. We got to do this thing."
Yeah.
Tommy shows up to Julie's house to pick her up for prom.
This is where we get that lovely scene of the father. He gets the shakes when he sees the limo pull up. He's like, "Damn, this guy's serious."
He's like, "Far out. This kid doesn't miss a trick."
Yeah.
And then he yells back, "Lancelot's here." Almost as if he's mocking him.
Yeah, White Knight. Yeah, I think he is. I genuinely think he is, because I think he knows what's going on.
He takes a puff from his joint. Oh.
He comes out with the camera, but he and his wife are both freaking out. So, they managed to get a few photos in before finally Julie's like...
Yeah, Julie mentions how they were married last September. And Tommy's like, "What?" And then her dad or her mom says, "Her first prom." And then the other one's like, "Yeah, far out." As if she's going to have more proms to come.
So the kids leave, and we're just left on the parents. And this is one of the few shots that is too campy, where the parents are a little funny, and they're kind of comedic relief. But there's just this moment. They're like, "Oh, well, we're the old folks now." And then her mother's like, "I need some of that weed. Like, give me a fucking puff. Like, what are you doing hiding in the bathroom? Like, pass the joint."
I like it. It's not necessary. You don't have to stay on them. It's almost like a neo-realism kind of thing.
Being left behind
where
in
you
the
stay
dust.
on a scene long longer than you need to.
Yeah.
I kind of dig it just because I love the parents.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of my quibbles with the movie. This whole climax feels super rushed.
Yeah, it does. And I had to kind of rewatch it a couple times because there is a lot going on. Basically, the limo pulls up and they get out. We kind of get a hint at the limo driver just waiting by the limo as if something's waiting.
Yeah.
And then as they enter the building, we see Randy and Fred run up, both in their formal wear, which they both look very uncomfortable in. Fred's got a new streak of color through his hair.
I think it's purple.
Lightning blue. And they just kind of sit there for a second as the prom gets set up. I didn't go to my prom, so watching this was kind of a cathartic experience. Also, Americans have this relationship with proms. Like, it's an important moment.
Yeah.
It's this weird, like, underhandedly sexual moment, too.
Yeah, there's always kind of that inkling of, like, hey, the boyfriend and the girlfriend are probably going to bone at the end of the night. Well, because
they discuss the fact that, like, Tommy's bought a room at a hotel.
Yeah, he's got this hotel room rented out.
And, like, that means literally only one thing.
It's like he's expecting that later on. Like, they're just, it's natural. They're just going to go to the hotel room.
Yeah, that's just how this works.
One thing I didn't quite catch is, do you think that Tommy and Julie have done the do, as it were, before?
No, I don't think they have.
I wasn't sure.
I think it's not important, but I think Martha frames that for Julie, the fact that it's important to people makes it less important to her. That's her unsubscribing herself from the materialism, especially since Randy. It's an interesting contrast, but no, I don't think so.
So Randy and Fred show up and they're at the prom, and you see a bunch of funny things. You see the two guys spiking a punch.
Yeah, Stacy's there at the prom. She's sitting at the table by herself.
Oh, you're right.
Waiting for her date, who I guess just doesn't come, which is ironic. She gets her comeuppance. I hate Stacy. If I haven't mentioned before, I hate Stacy.
We heard.
She's sitting there complaining. Meanwhile,
Susie shows up late.
Susie shows up with her boyfriend.
With Spike.
She's late. He brought the cups because he works at the grocery store, remember? And there's this moment, it's like, why are you late? And Lauren pipes up. And it's like, probably because they were getting laid.
It's such a funny line.
Oh, man. This is party V2.
Yes, this is
the party version 2.
The reiteration where all the storylines converge and find their finales,
their
as
conclusion,
it were.
Yeah.
Love the band.
Really great performance.
Josie Cotton's friends with Martha Coolidge again. So, good on you, Martha. Love you.
I love it. And we pretty quickly cut back to Randy and Fred, where they're discussing a plan again.
Yeah, and they're hiding out behind the curtain on the stage.
Yep.
And then you see someone like whisper to Julie and Tommy.
Yeah.
And they go off. And of course they've been announced prom king, prom queen.
Yeah, someone alludes to that beforehand as they're going to announce it. And
so they go up to receive it, and then the teacher goes out on stage and she has the funniest monologue.
It's
Kings and
so
queens, they don't just grow on trees. Everyone can't be a king and a queen. Then she goes like, I remember my prom.
Sadly, I wasn't elected queen.
She
starts tearing up at one point.
And then at the end, she collects herself. She's like, anyway.
Yeah. And meanwhile, we've been cutting back and forth between her speech and then behind the curtain, very poorly hidden from the action that's going on outside.
And no one hears this in the audience.
Which is so hilarious because they're so loud. We have Randy confronting Tom. Finally, it's the second confrontation. And so they're faced off. The first thing Randy says to him is, I'm going to give you the chance you never gave me.
Yes.
And then there's a beat and then just wails him in the jaw.
Oh, yes.
He's not just lowering himself to Tom's level. He is saying, like, no, I'm going to be better, at least in some degree, in my way, and then just slams him in the face.
And then Fred's there to help him, too. And then finally, the teacher says, like, without further ado, the king and queen of Valley High.
The curtain gets thrown back just for enough time to see Randy take one last wail.
He gets 2 or 3 in when the curtain goes.
It's a nice little bit of action, a nice little bit of emphasis. The whole time, Julie's, like, weirdly enthusiastic about the scene. She's just standing off the side.
I think she kind of digs it.
I think she's into being fought over.
So then it's just so funny because, like, the thought is like they're gonna come out, be very majestic, everything.
But they're the exact opposite.
They take the crowns, they put them on.
There's awkward applause at first, and then the curtain gets thrown back, and they just kind of exit through the parted waters.
Everyone
of the
parts
crowd.
for them. And then right before they leave, Tommy goes through again. Julie picks up a bowl of guac. Oh,
It's a bowl of guac. I was trying to figure out what it was. All I wrote down was nothing like a bowl of green sludge. Because like in almost every party scene, there's always someone with a piece of wet cake or pie or something that they can just hurl at someone's face. And it's the most effervescent guacamole I've seen in my life.
And she looks so happy when she does it.
And you know what? He looks green. Green with envy.
Green with envy.
Green
that is
with
perfect.
envy.
He gets the comeuppance he deserves because he is the worst.
And everyone gets their own comeuppance where they they get dirty.
It's a giant food fight.
It's a giant food fight, and
I'm pretty sure Fred instigates it. Like he doesn't instigate it, but he carries it out. He starts throwing things. Everyone's just into it. You know, they paid $100 or whatever they paid for dresses back in the 80s.
Just think of how many suits, those rental suits.
Oh, maybe Fred's dad does dry cleaning.
Fred lives in the city. I doubt that's the case, but
so huge food fight. They run away. They get into the limo and drive off just as everyone else is exiting.
They get into Julie and Tom's limo.
That is correct.
Where the limo driver's like, all right, quick exit, I guess. And they just hop in and he just drives off. Like, dude, it's obviously not the guy she came with. You're not going to ask any questions.
He doesn't care. He just gets paid to
Fair
drive.
enough. He gets paid. Hopefully he's already been paid. And one of the last lines of dialogue, she's like, take us to the hotel.
Yes, the Valley Sheridan.
The Valley Sheridan. That's like when you realize.
Oh, yeah. She's
going to kill Aiden.
So she's now fully in, you can tell.
He's about to be fully into it.
And then we end with this shot that is a direct quote from The Graduate.
Oh, yeah.
But the interesting thing is they flipped sides.
They did? Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, the end
it's also a night.
It is. It is. That's interesting. The end of The Graduate, as we all know, is
don't say as we all know.
Okay, the end of The Graduate, as some of us know, is you've got Dustin Hoffman and Catherine Ross who go onto the bus, which kind of drives off, and they're sitting there
at the very back of the bus,
very back. And as they realize, oh shoot,
the weight of their decision, basically,
their faces drop, and they just kind of sit there for a few seconds as the sound of silence plays.
Yeah, and it's an intense scene.
Except here, you've got Randy and Julie sitting in the back.
Flip sides.
Sides are flipped.
During the night as opposed to middle of the day.
And then Julie takes off the bracelet that Tommy had given to her.
And tosses it out the window.
Right
love
out
that.
the window.
Love a good chuck.
And Nick Cage gives this huge grin again. It's a wonderful ending because it does another thing. We have the one inversion of The Graduate. This is another kind of inversion where it's taking this ending that it's kind of depressing and it makes you wonder, like, what's next? And in this case, it's saying
the Sheridan's next. We know exactly what's next, Nathan. They never say, but we know exactly what's next.
But there's certainty now that she's made the right decision. She's chosen the right guy. And she's finally become her own person in a way. She's found her independence and her own agency.
Yeah, the motif with the street lights.
It's
like
nice.
They're bathed in the street lights, and this idea that she's made the decision to enter his world, hopefully for good this time.
Yes.
Because it's only one direction.
And then I Melt With You plays again, and it's hearkening back to that montage in the middle, where now they're allowed to be carefree. They're allowed to just be in love and to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
It's just such an exciting ending. It is rushed from the prom on, but I love how the ending is just so giddy. It plays off the energy that Cage brings to the movie, which is that giddy, just totally in performance.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we can really see how that pays off because this is like a great Nick Cage performance.
Yeah.
And like I've said, I love it when Nick Cage plays in love. So this is definitely like a setup for movies like Moonstruck, where he gets to do the same kind of thing. But I do like how restrained in some ways this performance is.
Yeah, but how much he lets that weirdness shine through.
Yes.
And everyone that acted with him in this movie says that was one of the things they just remember is how dorky but sexy he was, how suave, how funny of a guy and gentle of a guy he was. And all that character is basically like they were talking about Randy.
Yeah. I just can't get over how he looks at her in this movie.
Yeah.
It's I think the sign of a great actor, and one of the reasons why I loved A Star Is Born, the Bradley Cooper's performance, where the way he looks at Lady Gaga, you can just tell there's like an ocean of love in his eyes.
Sure.
And Nick Cage, like his eyes in this movie are maybe his best asset.
Yeah.
Because they have such depths to them. I love this movie.
Such a good film. I did not know what to expect going into it.
I honestly didn't either. I was so pleasantly surprised. I don't know why this movie isn't better known.
And has been given better reviews, frankly, because I think it does so much right in light of these toxic tropes that I think were really prevalent in that era. When you think Porky was kind of the start of that subgenre of really just nasty film.
The really interesting thing, I think, is that this opened right at the end of April, and it opened to like 1.8 million at the box office. In its second week of release, Porky's had a re-release 2 years later.
Interesting.
And Porky's made 2 million in its re-release.
Wow, in its re-release,
which I think is just wild. But Valley Girl was actually a pretty big success.
Very big success
for what it
based
was.
Based on the budget.
It had a budget of, I think it was $350,000, and the studio cut $25K from that budget for whatever reason. Yeah. And then on top of that, the budget for the music was $150,000.
Yeah, so, and the music also really became afterwards like iconic in its own right, and is still being played on radios today.
It did make 17 million, which is pretty good for what it was.
For a 400 and some thousand odd dollar movie.
It left a bit of a stamp on the culture, although I kind of wish it was a bigger stamp.
I want to talk about what kind of Nicolas Cage we're seeing in this film. We're trying to extract bit by bit from each movie a commonality that we're seeing through Nick's performances and classify them in some kind of iconography. And I think this one's pretty obvious. I think you'd agree.
Yeah. It's good Cage.
No, it's the Archangel Gabriel.
Oh,
we already talked about this.
That's great.
Fear not.
He is the Archangel Gabriel.
Fear not. This virginal, holy goddess that's like standing in the bathroom mirror, and he just comes up. Fear not.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be.
Oh, his hair in this is also really good.
When will I get to see you again? Date's not even done, you idiot.
Wait until you drop me off at 7 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, love it. Love it. Wait until my parents figure out where I've been all night, and then we'll see.
Thanks, guys, for listening to Cut the Chit Chat. We have a lot of fun watching these movies and then talking about them. I love the chance it gives us to kind of dig into the nitty gritty of it and to dissect these Cage performances as well as the movie around them. You can follow us at CTCCpod on Twitter. You can email us at ctccpod@gmail.com. We like to hear feedback, and we want to hear what you think about Valley Girl. Do you love it? Is it your favorite Nick Cage performance? Because it's one of mine. Thanks for listening once again, and we will see you next time.
What do you say we cut the chit chat, a-hole?
I love just having an outlet where I can talk about my feelings.
Absolutely.
In a safe space.
Look, if I'm going to be your therapist, you're going to have to pay me a little more.
All right, let's talk about that later.